Alright everybody, it's the rundown. It's October 2nd in the morning. We left off on Starbucks. Starbucks is red right now, so keep an eye on it. If it gets below this 20, we know it's going to go lower. We talked about it last night, so let's get on to the next one. SDOW is the inverse of the Dow, of course, and it's been steadily selling off. Got a lot of red in here that I got marked up, trying to figure out where it's going to be, and it just keeps surprising me, going higher and higher. So I'm gonna clear all this out, and that's the SDOW. Don't expect it to be going any higher anytime soon. The Dow looks pretty strong. The Dow has a little bit of a pullback. It's not going to be much. Next up, well, I shouldn't say that. I don't expect the Dow to have any major sell-offs, but we do have supply chain issues coming up, so that might be into the next year after we get through this presidential race. Alright, next up is SG Sweet Green Weed Stock, which we know that come December 5th we'll know where we're going to be at with the weed stocks, and maybe all these stocks are going to just blow up come that time, because I do suspect that the DOJ is going to approve the scheduling one, and we're going to be all the states are going to open up, and weed is going to be the new medication. Alright, anyway, this one is heading up. As you can see, we got the 200-day support heading in the right direction. Got the 150 heading in the right direction. Got the 150 being respected now. We're here with support. Now it's really being respected. Came down and just pushed right back up. Even the 20 is being respected here. So this stock currently, I would say, is in a buy area right in here, because we got our 150 and our 20-day. They're like, look at that, nicely spaced from the 200, and the 5 SMA is coming down to get underneath and head back up. This I like the way this bar came down and pushed back up too. That looks like it just wants to continue going higher. Of course, you know, pay attention to what you're doing, and but right now it looks like Sweet Green's in an uptrend. Next up is SH ProShares short, and like I said, we might get a little bounce here, but I think these moving averages are going to continue to roll over and push it down lower. I don't think these inverses on the S&P is going to pan out either. I think we're going to continue to go higher in the S&P and in the NASDAQ and in the Dow, at least until after the November. Then we'll see where we're heading after that. It really just depends on who gets in office. Next up is SHOP, Shopify, and Shopify is in this morning pushing higher, but it's got this overhead resistance of the 5 SMA, because it pushed up away from the 20-day here, got some spacing, so now it's coming back to shut that spacing down. But we got the 150 acting as support here. We got a window open up down here, which isn't cool. So that's going to be something to contend with in the future. This window. So watch out for that. Okay, down at around $55. So we got this window that needs to be closed at around 55. Then maybe we'll head back up. In the meantime, it's in a nice, it's looking bullish. Only thing we need now is this 150 to cross over the 200 and the 200 to turn up. And I think we're going to continue going higher. So that's Shopify. Next up is SKX Skechers. I don't know. Oh, why did I have Skechers in mind? Well, Skechers, you know, it's been a. I know why. It's been going crazy. Skechers has just been running like nuts for the last 2-3 years or whatever. So I'll be going, what the heck is going on with Skechers? But anyway, apparently people like them, according to the stock. So let's talk about it. Alright, so let's get back to our short months here. Let's do 6 months out. So Skechers hit $75, came back. You see here it had this gap up, or this window open, and so it had to come back and shut that window to go higher. But now it's back in this area again because it's kind of a I don't know, just a zone where it wants to pull back in. So let's get this. So we know our zone next time we get back to this area. Oops, leave that on. Alright, so that's our zone. This one here can go bye-bye. And okay, so we come and retest this upper portion of our window that opened. We already closed it, so we don't really need to worry about it anymore. So this support area at $65 should be a good support area. We got our moving averages, our 150 coming to act as support. We got our 200 coming to act as support. We got our 20-day that kind of passed through a little bit. It's splitting it right now, but so far it seems to be holding up. So Skechers right now, if we can hold our support area in here at around $65, we should continue higher with the moving averages and everything going underneath. Now, of course, remember, striking workers, and they were having issues back during COVID with the docks being full, and that was everywhere. California, back east. They had the bridge break at that other place where they were shipping stuff in and out of. I forget what that was on the East Coast also. I forget what city that was. But anyway, so be careful with these companies that need, well, I guess everybody needs supplies. So every industry is probably going to be affected by it, just some more than others. Anyhow, Skechers right now is looking bullish at the moment, so be careful. It in the pre-market it went down to about $65.40. Then it bounced back up. The problem with that is that that's a large push back up, and I've seen stocks do it, but sometimes they don't survive it. Sometimes they end up selling off and going down lower. So, and today is Wednesday, so tomorrow is Thursday. So Thursdays are usually down days. So we'll see what happens by the end of today to know what's going to happen by tomorrow. And but right now it's looking bullish. Just be careful. Tomorrow might be a little bit of a pullback, so you might not want to jump in too heavy today. Wait till Take Back Friday might give us a push back up. All right, that's Skechers. Next up is SLV Silver, which is retesting the 2956 area, and keep an eye on that. If it gets above it and retests and head higher, then it's still a buy. Everything is pointing in the right direction. You got the 200 heading up, you got your 150 curving the head up, you got the 20. So yeah, it's a buy, but it's coming up against some resistance here. So, and it's getting kind of long. Well, it's actually not too bad a spacing on all of them, though, really. You got the 20 next to the 150, 40 would be in here somewhere, and you got your, 200 down here. So, I'm saying silver is a buy at this point. It's buy the pullbacks, but don't buy, buy them at support. $26 area would be your next buy a support area in between all your moving averages. And yeah, that's silver, SLV. Next up is SMCI Super Micro Computer. I like to call it Scaramucci. I don't know why I call it Scaramucci, but that's what the name I had given it when I first started looking at it. And it did a split on October 1st. It split. I think it was about 400. According to what I have here, it should have been like around $416 when it split. But here's the thing that concerned me the most about Scaramucci, or SMCI Super Microcomputer. Let me not call it Scaramucci when I'm talking to you guys. That's just for me. 3 months in a day. I want to see that. That's not what I want. 5 years. 5 years ago. Yeah. So chart's acting kind of weird because they did that when they did the split. They had to adjust the chart. Okay, so 10-to-1 split would have put us here at about a little over $1,000. But as you can see, since that is 3/7 March of this year, since March of this year, super microcomputers have done nothing but sell off. It's been selling off. So it's been having problems. But even before it split here at $460. So I would be careful with it before I decided to just jump in and throw all of it. Maybe a short-term trade, make a few bucks and then get out. But you got the 200-day rolling over. You got the 20-day here coming in. Let's get back to it in a closer time frame. Right, so you got your 200, you got your 20 getting ready to play resistance. You got your 150 coming down to act as a resistance. You got your 200 way up here at $70 that either is going to go flat or going to roll over and act as resistance also. This thing has been, the 20 days has just really been beating it down for a minute now. Let's go back a year. So the 20, so it's been respecting the 5 SMA, right? But and then the 20-day, every time it hit that, it would knock it down. And of course, the 150 came in and acted as resistance. But like I said, this has been a modified chart, so I can't really judge about what I'm looking at now. I mean, I probably could, but I don't know. Just don't feel comfortable when they start changing stuff around. Especially when you were looking at 1,000 something, and then they change the numbers on here when they did the split. What was the actual price when it actually did split? I had it at $41, closing it around $41, I think. 41, I don't know, 60 or something, whatever. But anyway, I'm still not confident that super microcomputers isn't still going to sell off. Look for maybe some support at around $30. If it doesn't hold up, it doesn't push higher here and here. And this is an information technology anyway, I think. Yep, information technologies have been selling off here recently. And I'm not sure if this is because of the weight of this one's been pushing all of them down, or or was it Nvidia or what have you, but Nvidia's been kind of selling off a little bit too, not a lot, but they did a split here recently, so man, this chart's heck of red. Anyway, so I'm spending too much time on super microcomputers. So anyway, be careful with it. I think it's going to sell off some more. It's not. It's down. It's currently in a bear market. Below this 200-day moving average is a bear market. So it's currently in a bear market, and everything is pointing down except for the 200-day. So be careful with Supermicro Computer. Next up is Scott's Miracle Grow, which has been on a tear. Look at that. Which I hate Scott's Miracle Grow, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I had a ton of it back when it was 200 something bucks, and it started selling off, and I was holding and waiting and holding. But I finally just couldn't hold on any longer, let go, and it started going back up. It was just waiting for me to get out of it. So that's a lesson to be learned. That I learned was, my lesson was, if you see a stock that's selling off and it's in the bear camp, get out. Unless you got some puts on it, and you can keep your shares and buy puts to protect your, basically hedge against your stock, which is what I should have done, but I didn't do it because I'm still young in the game. But now I realize my mistake there. Instead of sitting there bleeding off, I should have been buying puts and let my puts protect my shares. And now it's pushing back up, and now I'm mad at myself for getting out. So don't be mad at yourself. Alright, be smart. So anyway, it's pushing up, it's running up into new highs. Let's see what we got here. So we got some resistance in here. Nope, that's support now. Resistance here. Maybe a little bit of resistance up there. This was a previous recent high here. Right here. And here was retest. And here was a test. So that might be a new support area. Turn resistance right now. Let's put that up. Alright. Let's go back to here, and we see it hit here and it rejected a little bit. Put it in the doji. It was like, ouch. The Warriors went out and got beat back down. That's how my boy, can't think of his freaking name. I haven't seen a video from him in a long time. Anyway, so we're getting a doji right now. We got a doji here and another doji coming in. So I think we may be getting a little bit of a pullback on Scott's Miracle Grow. It's getting pretty long. The two is getting pretty far away from the 20, the 150, and the 200. So it needs to come back and check in and see the parents and say hi for maybe for the holidays or something before going back to new highs. But yeah, that's Scott's Miracle. Right now it's bullish. 200's pointing up, the 150's pointing up, and the 20's pointing up. So look for a support at around $76 if it should come down, back down in here after trying to get over this 88. If it can't break through this 88.56 and come back and retest and prove that it's support, then it's going to come down here and prove that this is a good support before going higher. Alright, so that's Scott's Miracle, but currently bullish. Next up, SMMT, Summit Therapeutics, and it's got a window open here. Alright, and it's currently putting in a doji. It's got the 5 SMA acting as resistance. So look for this to maybe find some support here at $16, somewhere in there, $15.95 to $16 area. If that doesn't hold, then look for it to come back down here. And I was going to try to avoid that because this takes time, and we're trying to get through this because this is like the 4th rundown. I mean, we got trying to get through the week. I'm gonna have to cut that stuff. I'm gonna run it down and make it shorter. What I'm gonna do. Anyway, so $12.65, so somewhere around between $13 and $12 for support in here, and then maybe we might go higher because we do have our 200 heading up, we do have our 150 heading up, and we got our 20 that was pointing up, and now it may have time to curl over if this continues to sell off. But then we might find some support with the 150, which is coming up on this area where it gapped up. But of course, we do have this window that has to be reconciled, so they may want to go ahead and close that window before going anywhere else. Okay, so that would put us down around $13. All right, that's Summit Therapeutics. Next up is Sundial Weed Stop. It's I'm a holder of this one. I'm gonna buy some more, probably down around $1.85 if it gets there. Not holding a lot, but just enough until I find out what's going to happen with December 5th. Because just because they say they're going to do something, I don't mean they're going to do it. We're going to get a new president, and they might decide they ain't gonna, in Congress, get a whole new Congress or whatever, and they might decide they want nothing to do with it. So. Biden promised a long time ago, so we're still here. Anyhow, shouldn't say no names, huh? Don't say names. They don't like that. Anyway, looking at purchase, looking for some support around 185 right now. The 200-day is sitting at about 188, so we can get some support around 185. Maybe it'll turn around and head higher. But currently it's still bullish. Until we get below this 200-day, it's still a bullish market. Alright, that's Sundial, SNDL. Next up is SoFi. And SoFi is putting in the green bar. It's running into some resistance with the 5 SMA. It's got the 20 SMA it's kind of straddling the 20 SMA. And it's got the 200 acting as support. And 200 is starting to curl over a little bit, like it wants to get down. So keep an eye on that. Right now, it's this green bar is pushing up pretty good. So we have to see what happens the end of today and into tomorrow, because it's starting to look like the metal stocks where you get those 2 red bars of green, and tomorrow will be a red bar. But we don't know for sure. So we'll have to see where the money flow is, because right now this green bar really has no volume coming in. So that's kind of curious on that. It has some volume, but very little compared to this sell bar here. See what I'm saying? The difference. Alright, so that's SoFi. Be careful with it. Looks like we're going to be getting some more selling in SoFi. We'll know for sure come tomorrow. Alright, next up is SPX, which is the S&P 500 index, and it's bullish. We got the 200 heading up, the 150 and the 20. So look for some support right in this area when the 20 gets up in there to act as more support. Okay. And buy the dips. This is not a suggestion for you to buy, hold, or sell anything. So don't blame me if you do the wrong thing. But if it were me and we were pulling back and I was buying this, I would probably buy some in here somewhere. Alright, that's SPX. Next up is SPXU, which I believe is the inverse. Ultra Pro Short S&P 500, and it's red because it's getting a little green, but it's going to be red. These moving averages will come over to act as resistance, like it did over here. I don't see, at least until after the election, we should continue to go higher in the S&P, so this should continue to go lower. Next up is the SPY, SPY, same thing. Alright, bullish. Next up is SQ Block Inc., which is in the bear market, and the 20 is beating it down. It can't seem to get through the 20 there. As you can see, every time it broke through, came back, retested, and it said, "Yep, I am too much for you," and kept pushing it down. So look for Square to continue to sell off, unless it can get some support down in here. If not, then the next support will be down around $55. So right now, Square is in a bear market. So watch out for that. Next up is SRE, Sempra, which is an energy stock. I think I did a thing on energy stocks. I think it's one of those ones that sell energy in Texas. Yeah, Sempra Texas Utilities. So yeah, it's one of those Texas energy stocks. Pays a nice dividend at $83. It's running into some resistance here at $84.38. It's got some support coming in at $82.95, and as you can see, we're bullish on it because all our moving averages are pointing higher. Seems to be respecting the 150 down here, so keep an eye on up here if it comes back to the 150, and if the 150 doesn't hold, then maybe we get some support here around 77, and maybe our 200 will be up here by then to help out. If not, then then we'll be going bearish, which I don't think so. I think we're going to be going into next year. I think we're going to be bullish on energy stocks going into next year, and that's just because I have a feeling that I know where we're going to be at by the end of the year as far as who's going to be in charge. All right, so that's SRE, Sempra, and watch out for this area here. If 82.95 doesn't hold, then look for the 150 for support to push us back higher to retest this high. But right now, this $84 area is definite resistance. You see it hit it once, twice, 3, 4. Okay, so usually in the markets, it's either 5 times the charm or it gets slapped down like a guy, the muscle guy on the beach slapping that little scrawny guy. All right, next up is TCBP, TC Biopharm Holdings. Nothing really to see here. It's in a bear market, selling off. So I would stay away from that. And to be honest with you, I was looking for some information on the technology stocks on why they were selling, and it ended up giving me this stuff, and so I started looking at this stuff, and so that's the only reason here. I'm going to delete this one, so if you want it, you can jot it down, but it's getting off my charts, or out of my rundown. Got too many tickers that aren't really doing anything. Not really quality stocks. Target, I've always liked Target, but Target's always been a hard one to judge, and they've been having issues with I forget what they call it, but basically stuff walking out the door, stuff getting legs and walking out the door. So anyway, it came down, find support at 104. It hit support at 139, and right now it's currently bullish. It had a high of 268, so I'd like to see it retest that high that it had back in during COVID, before COVID hit, 2021, 2020. So let's get back to the 3 months in a day. So currently it's putting in a doji for the day. It's green at the moment, but as you can see, it dropped below our 200. So we need our 150 to straighten out. Right now, it's acting as support. The 200 is acting as resistance. We got the 20-day acting as resistance. So we need something to come in and give this a reason to live. But right now, we may be coming back down here to close this window down here at around 136, because remember, we got our supply chain issues happening too, and we don't know how long that strike's gonna last. And last I heard, they were still trying to get rid of all the containers in Southern California. So we got Southern California still backlogged. Now you got the East Coast going on strike, and who knows how long they're going to strike. So yeah, we may be looking at Christmas. The Christmas supplies may not be coming in. If they haven't gotten them already, they may be in trouble. So that's Target. But yeah, looks like it's going bearish on Target, so I would be careful with that one. Unless you want to go short it. It might be a good idea, but be careful with that as well. This doji, if it opens up below this doji tomorrow, again, I would say, yeah, it's probably going to continue to sell off. Next up is Tesla. Tesla had two big bar hit. Had a push up here. This 5 SMA tried to hold it up, but it couldn't do it. It did it, and then yesterday, but then today it's like, nah, it's too heavy of a sell. Can't hold it. And it's got low volume coming in today, so this red bar here may continue into tomorrow. Look for some support at the 20. The 20 doesn't hold, and we may have some support down here at around 230, 230.70. If that doesn't hold, then look for it to retest this 150. Maybe 150 might be enough to push it higher, or it may be coming back to retest this 208 area. But it's currently looking like it wants to sell off a little bit. It went back up to close this window, so it got this window closed. So maybe that's all it was trying to do, was shut this window so it could go back lower. But it remains to be seen. Our 200 is flat, so it's not pointing up like it wants to go up to go higher, and our 150 is flat. So watch out for Tesla. Looks like it wants to go lower. Next up is Texas Roadhouse, TXRH. And Texas Roadhouse is putting a nice push-up bar here from the support area. Came back to retest this support area to see if it's support. We got the 150 starting to curl up. We got the 20 coming up to help out. We got the 200 pointing up. So right now Texas Roadhouse is is looking bullish, and it may want to. It's been slapping around in this area for a while now too, consolidating. Pull back here, close that window, shut that window twice. It's got another big window down here open. It looks like. Let's see if it ever closed it. Nope. Never closed it. Sometimes these things will continue to just go higher, and then do a split, and then come back and close them that way. That'll disappear if they do a split. Okay. So anyhow, Texas Roadhouse looks like it wants to be bullish. So yeah, buy the dip, but don't buy it because I said so. Buy it because you think it's worth it. Let's see, a little smaller here, 3 months of the day. Yeah, so respect the moving averages. Of course, the 150 needs to curl up underneath this 20 to help push it higher. But right now it's not completely bullish, but it's starting to look bullish. Alright, that's Texas Roadhouse, TXRH. Next up is Ulta, ULTA, the beauty salon, Ulta Beauty. I like them because during the Christmas time they usually start to, they have a nice push up and then they start to sell off into the new year. But anyway, Ulta has been selling off for quite a bit now. It's got the window open up here though. Look at that. Way up here. It's got a window open at 518. Alright, and it opened up a window here as well. let's see there. That's interesting. So it opened up a window. I'll show you in a second. So here it popped up, opened up a window here, right? Alright, so might as well just erase that one and just say this window. This is the window. So here it gapped down, went back, closed it, and it went down here, went up, then it gapped up over this zone area in here, and went back and forth and went up here, and then gapped down again back into the zone area, and went down in here and messed around. So basically, and then it gapped up down, and here's another gap down here. So it opened up another window right here and here. So sometimes it gets this big influx of money or big sales or something. I have to sit down and really pay attention to it. We've got another window that it opened up, and right here, right, and then it came back, tried to backfill it, and went back up. So, but yeah, it was up around $500. Did it do a split or something? Nope, no split. It just sold off from 500 down to 318 right now. And now it's coming back up. It had to come back up. It's probably going to come down and shut that window and maybe go lower. But that's Ulta right now. It is right now it's bearish. Got our 200-day up here. We got our 5 SMA coming down, pointing down to act as resistance. We got our 20-day above it to act as resistance, and we got our 150 pointing down, which may act as a little bit of support, but if it's pointing down, it's not going to be much. It's just going to slide right off it and continue to head down. Alright, so we may be going back to close this window to completely shut it. They left part of it open, so they need to go back and completely shut this window before maybe going higher, or it may just continue to go lower. So watch out for Ulta. I think we're in the sell, bearish, and we're going to continue to go lower. Let's see, it's up. Vail. Vail is a Vail SA80R. It's they do lithium mining, iron ore, nickel, copper. I thought they did lithium as well. And if not, then I might have to go back and re-evaluate that one, because I was trying to find me a good lithium company. So I might have to go back and revisit that one. But they do iron ore and different types of energy products and minerals like gold, silver, cobalt, stuff like that, precious metals. Anyhow, they're out of Rio de Janeiro too also. So it got a window open here, pays a dividend, and right now it's just kind of in no man's land. We don't know what it's going to do. So we got our 20-day pointing up, or 150 pointing up, or 200 is overhead. So it's currently in the bearish camp. So watch out for that one. We may be coming back down here to close these windows. Alright, next up is VRT, Veritiv Holding, and it is in the bullish camp. Looking bullish at the moment. It's finding support at the $97 area. Looks like some birds sitting on a wire there, huh? Okay, so it's got some support in the $97 area. Waiting for this 20-day to come up and push it up higher, and the 150 to follow, and the 20 to follow. So right now, Veritiv Holding is bullish, and currently I would probably buy the dips. If it was a dip down here at $86, I'd be buying it. All right. Or even while these birds are sitting on the wire, maybe it's $97 if it tried to push down at $97, I might buy a share or two or whatever. But I do not hold any of this, and I honestly am not going to buy any of it. But if I were to, it would be in this area. All right, above the moving averages or with the moving averages. So that's Veritiv Holdings, VRT, Victor Romeo Tango. Next up is VST, Victor Sierra Tango. And it's bullish. It's getting long in the tooth right here, so I'd wait for that to pull back, or at least the 20 to come up and get with it and let them decide what they want to do. It's got a little window open here. It may not even be enough to sneeze at. But we are making, we did have a high here, so we're making a new high. Let's open it up some to see where we're at. Yeah, so we had a high here at, why don't I have that number there? Let's fix that so we can see what our high was. Okay, so we had a high at 107.24. So we never retested it, we just blew through it and kept going. So look for a retest of this high. And then, like I said, you got a little window, so it may even want to come back and shut that little window. Don't know for sure. It might just ignore it and keep going. But we definitely are making new highs in Vistra Corp, VST. But yeah, Vistra Corp is a buy. It's definitely bullish at the moment. So yeah, look for those pullbacks. Those are always a good thing. You want to get in when it's low, not when it's high. So wait for the pullbacks to make your decision, or jump in now and feel the pain when it decides to go back and check that support. No, but that's not written in stone. It doesn't always have to do that. It can find a new support and keep going from there. Okay, so let me rephrase that. But if it does decide to turn around and retest this support area, look for it to retest at around 107. Next up is Wingstop, which is coming up. It ran into some resistance at 433.86. So it looks like it wants to go and retest that resistance. It's been in a bullish for a minute now. It's got 150 coming up at this support, and it's got this 20-day coming up to act as support also, which actually did show some support right in here. So the target for this is a new high. So the target for this stock, if it can get above this 433 area, come back and retest it and then hit higher, we're looking at about 520 before the end of the year, possibly in Wingstop. But right now, it's currently a bullish stock. Next up is Wally Mart, and it's the last one on our list. Whew, thank you, Jesus. Man, tiring. Alright, let's get it. We got some support here at the 5 SMA. We got the 20 heading up. It's been respecting the 20, so we can probably count on it. But then it also had this support area too from that previous high. So look for that to be your new high. Is acting as resistance at the moment. It's pushed up about as much as it can handle at the moment. Let's take this. Wait a minute. Let me clear that. Oh, I don't want to do that. Let me that. I'm gonna do this. Duplicate. Put that in there. Like that. Alright. And this gets a new color. There you go. And 30-minute chart hits this level. We don't need that anymore. There's a gap up here, so that should be a different color. Alright, and then this stuff go away. So yeah, so that's Walmart's running into some resistance at the moment. So keep an eye on that. It may pull back to retest this area at $77, and before continuing higher. But it definitely has the moving averages in support. They've got a pretty good gap between these moving averages. The 200's way down here, so keep an eye on that. We may want to come back and retest this 200 and check in, come back to the mothership and check in before, finishing our space exploration. But right now, it definitely is running into some resistance at $81. $81 doesn't hold. If it forces it back down, look for some support around $77. If 77 doesn't hold, look for it to come back and shut this window down here. Alright, got another window. Okay, so and then we close this window at around $66. Then we can continue higher without, well, we still have this window down here at $61, $60. So just keep an eye on it. If it continues to go higher, you're probably going to do a split at some point, and we won't have to worry about these windows. But if we start to see it selling off, then with Walmart supply chain, blah blah blah, we know these windows are open, so we need a reason to come down and close them. So keep an eye out for that. And that's the last one on the rundown. I'm going to try to make it a little shorter so we don't have to have 4 parts to the rundown. We only have to have maybe 1 or 2 parts. But there's quite a few stocks that are out there that are decent stocks that I like, and so that's why it's so long in the tooth. But thank you for bearing with me and listening, and please like and subscribe. Tell your friends about my channel, and hopefully I can continue to do this into the future. Alright, thanks, and good luck out there, because these markets are crazy.